Hey, this was actually shot after I finished this video. I just wanted to apologize in advance. The first segment, I didn't even notice when I was making it. I guess I had the dryer on in the background, and we have a squeak in our dryer. So it can be a little bit annoying, but I mostly wanted to address that for the persnickety people that are always letting you know every little quirk in your video. So enjoy. Hey there, YouTube. I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Today I've got a little recipe for you that I wanted to share. I've actually made this one before, and I think I actually made a video on it before, but it's been well over a year, and I've tweaked a little bit since then. So we're going to take you through the steps again, and this is a super easy one, and as the title says, this is a mock raw vegan lasagna. Now, for people that are very literal out there, no, it doesn't taste a lot like an actual lasagna, but it is good, very tasty. And like I just, I do my salads every day, I do my smoothies every day. Every so often I need to just spice it up a little bit and do something a little bit extra. So I'm going to take you through the steps here. But before I do that, if you are not already subscribed to this channel, go down and hit that subscribe button now and come back and check out the channel some more. So I'm going to use my trusty food processor, and I'm going to give a little bit closer up in just a minute here. But basically what I've got is I soaked a bunch of walnuts. This is going to be the meat portion of the lasagna. And this is kind of versatile too. This can be used for other things. I use this, a lot of times I will make mock meat out of tacos for various, mock meat out of walnuts for various things, whether they're tacos. Or what I like to do is I'll season it and I will keep it in the fridge and I'll use it almost kind of like bacon bits on the top of things. But for this particular recipe today, since we're kind of going a little bit more Italian with it, soak those, have a couple of splashes of Bragg's amino in there, 2 or 3 splashes of Bragg's amino. I put some garlic powder, I put some onion powder, I use some basil, and I use some oregano. Now we're just going to hit that, and I'm going to show you exactly how I do it and make the meat for this recipe. All right, guys, bear with me on the camera work here, but I've got it in my food processor, and what we're going to do is whatever your food processor, whatever you're using, you want to pulse. That way it doesn't get out of control. You just and it doesn't take a lot. And that's really all it takes right there. Just pulse it. I might hit it one more time just to get it a little bit finer, but that's it. Okay, next is the cheese sauce. For this, I soaked some cashews. Let them just soak in water for, I don't know, half hour or so. Juice of 1 lemon. And then I added a whole bunch of nutritional yeast in here. Now what we're going to do now is just put just a little water in there, little by little, and pulse that. And blend that in and use my tamper. And we're going to get that into the consistency that we want. Now, like I've stressed in many videos before, be very careful with that water because you can always add more water, but you can't take it away. And nothing is more disappointing than going a little heavy-handed on the water and ruining your recipe because you can't get it back to the thickness you want. I want this to be a little bit thick, and it's actually going to be thicker. It's going to be a lot thicker than what it looks there because I'm not putting the lasagna together today. I'm just making the various ingredients. This is going in the refrigerator and it'll thicken up a good bit, so I had to adjust for that. As far as the nutritional yeast, somebody will ask, I don't know, I don't measure. I just kind of free-handed it in there. But when if you're doing something like a sour cream, I just put my soaked cashews in there with a little bit of apple cider vinegar. And once again, I use water, but I go a little bit more liquidy with it on that because I'm usually using a little bit different. And if you just want to thin up your cheese sauce, like I say, just play with the consistency of it right there. But this is going to be good. I'm really looking forward to this as I'm putting together the individual ingredients. So I think probably what we're going to make next is the sauce. Okay, now we're going to make the sauce. And once again, like, none of my recipes are proper recipes in the sense that there's an exact amount and whatever. Like I've mentioned many times before with my recipes here, I'm constantly tweaking them. I forget what I put in them, or I don't pull out the recipe that I've written down. So I make them a little differently every time. So just kind of learn the essence of putting recipes together. But in here, I've got 3 Roma tomatoes and a regular tomato because that's all the Roma tomatoes I had. Just chop them up. I've got about 7 or 8, 9 pieces of sun-dried tomato. I've got 2 cloves of garlic. I've got 2 dates, and I've got a bunch of basil, this kind of basil, and oregano in there. Just shook a lot of it in there. That I definitely don't know the amount of. And I'm going to go blend this. And I'm not using any water. Just take note of that. The tomatoes offer enough liquid in there. So I'm going to go blend this up a little bit. And I'll be right back to you for the second part of this sauce. Okay, that blended up nicely. It's nice and thick in there. The one thing I added in just a little bit of was some pink Himalayan salt. And now I want this really thick and hearty. This is a real thick and hearty sauce here. So what I have here is some marinated mushrooms. Now, I don't know. What did I marinate them in? I'll generally put a little Bragg seasoning in there, a little onion powder, a little garlic powder, maybe a little apple cider vinegar. I just use a number of things. I mean, you can marinate these in any number of things. Sometimes I'll put some lemon in there. But I'm going to take the mushrooms and I'm going to add them to this sauce without the juice, of course. I'm going to drain it, add it to this sauce, and then I'm just going to pulse it. I'm not going to do it really go aggressive because I want it to be kind of chunky. I want it to be kind of thick. So let's see how it comes out. All right, I'm very pleased with the thickness of this sauce. I had just the right amount of mushrooms. It's nice and thick here. Ooh, that's going to be good in the lasagna. All right, now we have all the various parts, the various ingredients in there. So now we're going to put together our lasagna. Okay, now I sliced my zucchini really thin, and I'm making it 2 slices wide. So I've got my first layer, which is that cheese sauce, on 2 slices there. Got my other 2, that's going to be the top. Next, I put a nice little layer of my mock walnut meat on there. I really like the consistency, both the cheese and the meat came out. And voila, there you go. I'm looking forward to this later. All I did was, like I said, I went in and put some of my marinara sauce on top of the mock meat. And then I put those 2 tops of the zucchini on top of there, and then just for good measure I put a little bit more cheese sauce and a little bit more marinara sauce on the top there. So there you go. And might I mention that you can put this together. I won't necessarily, even now that I've got all this in the refrigerator, I've got plenty to make a lot more of this. I won't necessarily make it the same every time. Like, you know, sometimes I might leave the meat out of it and just make it like a cheese and marinara sauce. Sometimes I might leave the cheese out of it and just make it marinara and the mock meat sauce. So you can mix it up back and forth. But I think you'll like this. And like I say, if you're not vegan, if you don't eat plant-based, yeah, you're probably not going to find this even remotely like lasagna. But it's good. It's good. And you know, it always kind of is odd to me because even back when I was a hardcore drunk, drinking crazy, living crazy, eating whatever, I would, if the food was healthy, I used to eat vegan food way before I became vegan. So open your mind and give it a try. But anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this little recipe today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. Maybe share it with your friends. Have a beautiful weekend, and I will see you here again next week. Peace.